tip. Coming all 3 speakers. Good honest reviews, book shows, and the movies all getting featured. They all getting featured. Said it's Tanesha's tip. Coming all 3 speakers. Coming all 3 speakers. Good honest reviews, book shows, and the movies all getting featured. Yeah. It's your girl Tanesha, straight magic. The greatest book reviews, let's get at it. She not here to offend, she just honest. Bringing words that may leave you astonished. And plus she do shows. She cover all like hands, knees, and toes. Don't lollygag, no, she just roll. Then it's on to the next one, on to a fresh one. Said it's on to the next one, on to a fresh one. Tanesha's tip. Coming all 3 speakers. Good honest reviews, book shows, and the movies all getting featured. Said it's Tanesha's tip. Coming all 3 speakers. Coming all 3 speakers. Good honest reviews, book shows, and the movies all getting featured. Yeah. Hey. It ain't for the clout, it's honest. See the truth when you look beyond it. Book shows, not to mention movies. She give or take in a great way, you'll see. Check it out, see if you agree. If you vibe, guess it's meant to be. And baby, you don't even need the script. Learn it all with Tanesha's tips. Tanesha's tip. Coming all 3 speakers. Yeah. Good honest reviews, book shows, and the movies all getting featured.
Hi, and welcome to Tanesha's Tips. Today we're going to review the 2nd episode of Divorced Sistas, and this episode is called Old Flames and New Scars. Okay, so you know, when we first left off on the first episode, the pastor's wife Rashidita was doing a counseling session with the lady, and she revealed that she had been sleeping with her husband, the pastor, Pastor Jeff. So, and that's how it ended. So now we have to pick up where we left off. So basically what ends up happening is Rashidita's telling her that she forgives her and she's not mad at her. And she asks her, where and when did this take place? And she says, oh, it happened on Thursdays after choir rehearsal and in his office. And she asked for specifics. Now, why we need to know that is beyond me. My thing is, the lady said she did it. She said that happened or whatever. As far as I'm concerned, we believe her until we go and look at the video. But that ain't what she did. So anyway, she ended up taking her to his office. And on the way, they see Bridget, because Bridget had her gown. Bridget looking at her like, what is going on? When the lady asked if he was there, because she was kind of hesitant to go to the office where the scene of the crime took place. But she was like, no, it's going to be okay. And as I told you, he's not here, right, Bridget? And Bridget was like, no, he ain't here. Anyway, so they carry on and go into his office or whatever. And again, she's asking for specifics and what day and then, everything. But she was kind of shifty and shaky or whatever. So it came out that she really didn't believe the lady, and she told her, she looked at the calendar and told her that on Thursday he had family time and he was with her. And also she was like, you said it took place here, and all these cameras here, we would have had it on video. Okay, girl. So anyway, the lady was like devastated that she didn't believe her, and she went running out. When Rashidita came out, she again met Bridget, and Bridget said, another one? So again, this ain't the first time we heard this, which I'm just like, oh Lord, we already knew was something going on, but is this what it is? I don't know. So then we flip back to Geneva. And last episode, Geneva was worried about her husband cheating with the pretty lady, which they haven't addressed that yet. However, things seems to be getting worse for Geneva, because she's at work and she's like contemplating, just thinking about different things or whatever, when one of the staff members that she works with came in and said that she had a visitor. Now, she was like, well, I'm getting ready to leave or whatever, but I wasn't expecting anybody until they said it was Javion or Javon, whatever his name is. Anyway, so this man, he walks in, and it seemed like they had a thing going 6 years ago, and both of them were married. He ended up leaving or whatever, I guess moving away or whatever, and now he's back and he wants to rekindle things, and it's quite obvious. Geneva, she is very uncomfortable, whatever. She's trying to talk to him, but she kind of not trying to talk to him, whatever. But you could tell she kind of like, weighing everything out, right? So anyway, it just was all weird and everything, and it's like, okay, so you're worried about your husband cheating on you, but you did something 6 years ago with this dude, and obviously nothing has changed. He also let the cat out the bag that he's back in town and that he's now divorced. Did we forget that she's not? Old Will is somewhere, lurking around. Anyway, I digress. So then Geneva decides that she's gonna meet up with Rashida and catch up, right? And so she gets to Rashida's house, and she's in the back, I guess, getting something to drink. And Rashida comes in and she greets her kids, and they both teenagers and have an attitude. The little girl, she more spicier than the boy, but she's on the phone and she acts like she can't even give her mom a 2-second hey. But that's just me. I'm like, girl, you the pastor's kid and you acting like this? I mean, they say PK kids are bad, but to your parents? But okay, whatever. Anyway, so Rashida and Geneva go into Rashida's bedroom and they start having girl talk or whatever, and they reminiscing about, college and things like that. Then they get on the subject of, what's going on with Geneva, since Rashida said she wasn't going to say nothing about anything. Everything is all good. We're going to give it to God. It's all she be saying, right? So anyway, so Geneva was like, you could tell me. I find out. She said, yeah, just like in college, you call everything. And she said, but not an STD. That was the joke or whatever. And I'm like, okay, girl. Anyway, so like I said, they were catching up or whatever. And Geneva came out and told Rashida that Javon was in town. And she said, oh, you need to leave that alone. And she was like, yeah, I know, but he's divorced now. And all these ifs, ands, and buts or whatever. And I'm just like, girl, bye. Okay. So then we find out on the next scene that Bridget is in a whole relationship with a manchild. So she got him a job with some guy. And at first I thought they were dating or whatever. And they were talking about like a teenage son or whatever, the way they were talking. But anyway, it ended up that the guy on the phone ended up firing the man-child. The man-child gets home and he has a beer in his hand and he's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm gonna go. And he was like, I got fired from my job today. Like, it was nonchalant and no big deal or whatever. And he told her that he was gonna get ready to go play the video game. I'm thinking, a video game at your grown age? Okay, whatever. That is just me. But anyway, so he figures out, he says, well, where are you going? And she said, oh, I got the banquet tonight. And he said, oh, I could go to that. And she looking like, no. Instead of telling him, no, right? She ain't telling that. Anyway, she was like, it's black tie. He said, oh, I have one of those. And she was like, it's tuxedo. He said, well, remember when I did that catering job? And she was like, he said, yeah, you said I looked good. And she was like, I guess so, yeah. He said, well, all I need you to do is iron it. It's in the hamper. Wait a minute. First of all, you wasn't invited to the banquet. Second of all, you trying to wear a dirty outfit that you wore on a catering job that's in the hamper. And fourth of all, you expect her to iron it? Yeah, man-child. And to me, that would have been grounds to go off on him, but she didn't. I'm like, girl, what is you doing? But anybody asked me, right? So anyway, he walks out the room or whatever, and I guess she just like, well, I'm just gonna do this. Never mind that now the job that he didn't do, the guy that hired him has to do it, and he's gonna be late to the banquet or whatever. Because I had thought that the way they were talking is he was gonna go with her, but I guess that's not the deal. Whatever, we gonna see, because we ain't got to the banquet yet. Anyway, so then we flip to Naomi, because she already was having her issues with her ex or whatever and stalking him. Well, she was getting her makeup done and her hair done or whatever, and I guess she was doing too much and not enough at the same time for the stylist, because she ended up snatching the phone away from her. Now, Naomi got mad and told her that she could kick rocks, because she said she ain't gonna be snatching her phone away from her. Well, basically, the stylist was being a friend. She was basically telling her, listen, just leave it alone or whatever. You got all this money from this man. You don't need him or whatever. But for some reason, I don't know what he did with her or to her. But, I mean, if soul ties could talk, okay? Anyway, because if somebody gave me $37 million, you ain't got to worry about me. Listen, my name is Rainbow Bright, and I am out. That's just me. Anyway, so they got her to get out of her feelings or whatever, and took the phone away from her and told her, listen, you need to get off of him or whatever and get better or whatever. It's not gonna bring him back stalking him. Just chill. So I guess she came off her high horse and was like, but don't you ever take my phone away from me no more or whatever. Ooh, child, I would have fired myself. Anyway, we get back to Geneva. She had made it home, or the husband had made it home, and she was in there having maybe a wine relaxer. I guess that's what the mommies do now. He greeted his daughter or whatever, who was sitting with the nanny, and the little girl is the daddy's girl because she is all about her daddy will, right? Anyway, so he asked her, where's mommy? And she's like, oh, she's in the kitchen. So he goes in there and he greets her. And she gave him like a half-hearted hey or whatever, but you could tell something was wrong. He could too. He was like, well, what's wrong? And she was like, oh, nothing is wrong. I just came from Geneva's or whatever. And, she was just like, nothing. And he was like, but what, that's, you may be working too hard or whatever, that's why we going to the trip to Italy or whatever. And she kind of looked like she didn't want to really go. And he said, please don't tell me you canceling. And he was like, oh, no. She was like, I'm not canceling. And he was like, good, because I've been waiting a long time for this. So in the back of my mind, in the back of her mind, I'm sure she's saying, yeah, I know he really is cheating on me. But she actually told Rashida that she knew William was cheating. And it was like, are you just giving yourself this permission because, Javion is back or Javon is back and you don't want him to find out what happened 6 years ago? I don't know, but that sounds about right. Anyway, so Geneva is kind of on the defensive with William and saying, because he said, I know you work hard or whatever, and, you be dealing with our daughter. And she was like, dealing with? She was like, are you trying to say I'm not a good mother? And here we go. Why is we trying to start a fight? He was like, no, I'm not saying that or whatever. And I'm like, girl, you wore me out with that one. Anyway, William was like, I'm going to go ahead and get ready or whatever, and then you could get ready, because for some reason she felt like she couldn't share a bathroom with him. To me, my thing is, she was moving funny even to me, and I ain't even in a relationship, but okay, go off then. And I say that because last episode she was so in tune and trying to find out who William was cheating with, that now this episode, when her sneaky leak came back, then now she acting crazy. Why is you acting like that? If you had somebody and he doing something on the side, then do we really care? I don't know. I ain't never been married. Don't listen to me. That's just me thinking, okay? These are not real people. I'm just saying. Okay. So then, meanwhile, we go back to the pastor and Rashida, okay? And they seem to be not getting along at all, because they started arguing or whatever, and the kids come in saying, y'all don't even like each other. I don't even know why y'all here, and y'all be putting up a front in church. But ain't that what church people do? Anyway, so she was like, the husband was like, or Pastor Jeff, we do love each other very much, but sometimes the people that are together and they've been together for so many years, they don't like each other. All the while, Rashida just looking, she ain't said a word, right? Because I feel like, this is just a rehearsed line, and obviously the kids telling the truth, because I can believe that because how they were acting in the church. Anyway, but that's just me. So they decided they're going to go their separate ways and go get dressed or whatever and get ready for this banquet or whatever, because there's just too much. Okay? So anyway, we flip right back to Geneva, and we almost done, y'all. So Geneva comes down the stairs, and surprise, surprise, her husband William has invited Javion over. And she's like, what are you doing here? And she was like, he was like, I invited him here. He's back in town or whatever. And she was like, oh, okay, but we getting ready to go to the banquet. And William says, oh, well, he's going too. I invited him. And so now she's like, oh. So then he says, we could get going, but I just want to say, I want to say goodnight to Anika first. How about we have her come down so he can see her? So of course he yells up for the nanny to bring Anika down. And so when Anika comes down, Javion says, oh, Anika is a pretty name. And she says what her name means, but I didn't catch all of that. I was like, okay, some kind of way it's significant, that Anika name, okay? So anyway, he says, well, baby, we finna get ready to go to the banquet or whatever. And so Nanny's gonna put you to sleep. She said, no, but I want you to tuck me in and put me to sleep. And so he looks at both of them. He said, well, I'll be back. I'm gonna put the baby girl to sleep or whatever, and we'll leave. So he goes upstairs, and Javion was like, "Oh, so you named her Nika? And he was like, "And she's 5 years old?" And she was like, "Mm-hmm." And he said, he said, "Is she mine?" Girl, mic drop, because that was the end of the episode. Now we got to figure out, okay, is this little baby girl her? His or what? Girl, Geneva, what was you doing? Because it's mighty funny they had said in the first episode that you was having trouble conceiving. And then on the last end, 6 years ago, you all of a sudden got married. Had a baby. So I'm just putting two and two together. Did William have a vasectomy or something, and that's why he out doing his thing? I don't know. I'm just speculating. Come back for episode 3. I know I'm behind, but I'm about to catch up because this is good. All right. Until next time, I want y'all to like, comment, subscribe. If y'all watching, tell me what you think, because I'm in my head and having this whole conversation, and I'm like, ooh, y'all got me looking crazy. All right. Bye.
And plus she do shows. She cover all like hands, knees, and toes. Don't lollygag, no, she just rolls. Then it's on to the next one, on to a fresh one. Ooh. Ha. Said it's on to the next one, on to a fresh one. Tanesha's tip, coming all 3 speakers. Good honest reviews, book shows, and the movies all getting featured.